All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and call this May 14th, 2018 regular City Commission meeting to order. We have a regular City Commission meeting, then at 7 we will have the joint meeting with the county. Commissioner Farnsworth is on his way in, but we're going to go ahead and get started now. So if I could have an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Glanzer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. And we'd like to invite Pastor Jess Carter from the Newberry Church of Christ to lead us in our invocation tonight. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Bow with me, please. Dear Almighty God, we are so thankful that we can come as citizens of this town, of this county, of this state, that we can come before you and ask that you would bless us, that you would help us, that we might work together, that we might encourage one another, that we might benefit our communities, and that we might call upon you and your Son to help us and look down upon us. We pray now that you continue this night. We ask all of this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Carter. Before we move on with the agenda tonight, the chair would like to recognize the presence of the majority of the commission from the city of Trenton. Would you folks like to come down and make your comment now? We appreciate you coming, Mayor Dean, to be with us here tonight.
Well, thank you all for having us. My name's Lee Dean. I'm the mayor of Trenton, and myself and a few representatives from the city of Trenton wanted to be here tonight to thank you all for your outpouring of support and acts of kindness through the tragedy that our community suffered back in April, and we really appreciate it. And if there's anything we can ever do for you all, just let us know.
I appreciate you guys coming down here. This was a community tragic event, and so our hearts went out to you. Everything that happened in this city was done out of sincere love for you guys and what you guys were going through, but we do appreciate you being here tonight. In the back there, some students from Newberry High School hand drew that banner. We'd like to give that to you tonight for you guys to take home with you to do with what you will. And would any other commissioners like to make a comment tonight? We do. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night at the Newberry 4-H banquet, also at Clark Plantation. So we'll have a good chance to commune together and love each other at that point as well.
Sounds great.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank y'all.
We appreciate you. Okay. All right. We'll move on with our presentation. I think we have Miss April Tischer here. She's candidate for Alachua County School Board. Would you like to make your way to the podium and introduce yourself to us? Before you get started, just to our county commission, we appreciate you being here. Our microphones work really good as long as there's no other electronic device near them. As soon as we get another electronic device near them, we have a problem. All right, Ms. Tischer, thank you for being here with us tonight as well.
Thank you, Mayor Marlowe, for having me and commissioners from the county and from the city of Newberry. My name is April Tischer, and I am running for Alachua County District 3 School Board. I've met many of you at other Newberry and county events recently, so I appreciate you allowing me to come speak tonight. I have been in Gainesville for almost 16 years now. I came here to my husband's hometown. He was Gainesville High School and University of Florida graduate. We have 4 children. Next year I'm going to have an elementary, a middle, a high school, and a college girl. So we are entrenched in education. We value it very much. I've been at the PTA board and room mom and SAC committees, and I'm on the Bishop Community School Committee. So in the last 9 years being in the schools, I felt like this was my time to take it up a level and to serve my community and to be an advocate for all students of Alachua County. I realize that some children have parents that can be in the schools and can advocate for them, and have the resources and know the people to ask, and some children don't. And I feel like that it's time for them to have a voice on the board. There are no other school board members who have children currently in school, and I feel like that's representation that is missing from the school board. I appreciate the experience that the current members have, but I do feel like having a fresh breath of air, a different perspective will be helpful. There are just a few things that I have seen that I would like to make my priorities. School safety is one of them. I know that that's a priority for everyone right now. I'm a big fan of our school resource officers. I am happy we'll have dedicated officers and deputies in all of our schools in the county next year. I think having more social workers in the school would be very beneficial to help take the ease off the teachers and off the guidance counselors, and work with the school resource officers to identify the children that are most in need. I think school safety encompasses mental health. I think it encompasses children with medical issues, chronic medical issues. I think it's important to have all those people in place so that everybody can do their jobs. I'm also very passionate about extracurricular activities. I'd like the district to help do more to support those things. Not all students have parents who are pushing them, or they have the will to make good grades. It might be that playing in the band or playing football on Friday nights is the only thing that motivates them to go to school. So I'd like to see more support in those areas, particularly the middle school area. And I like the career and technical education. I think the offerings that we have in the county are great, but I think we need more, and I'd like to see them spread across the county. Not every child is going to go to a four-year university, so I like having options that give them marketable skills while they're in high school, part of the Alachua County school system. I want to make a difference. This is my time. My children are young. I'm living the decisions the commissioners make every day, the decisions that the school board make every day with my children in the classrooms, with the teachers at home, and I appreciate your vote, August 28th.
Well, thank you for coming out and introducing yourself to us tonight. From a board of elected officials, we know what it takes to put yourself out there like this in the public and go around and do what you're doing, and the commitment that it takes. So we appreciate you doing that. Would you be willing to answer any questions from the commissioners?
Absolutely, sure.
Commissioners, do you have any comments, questions? Commissioner Martin?
I do. In the interest of full disclosure, I'm a wholehearted supporter of Ms. Tischer. Her and our family have known each other for a number of years now. I know how passionate of an issue the school board and what happens in the schools can be for you. I think you would be an excellent choice and an excellent addition to the school board for sure. But I did want to ask you if you could let people know how they can find out more about you.
Okay, so I have a Facebook page dedicated to the campaign. We also have weekly emails that go out. You can go to the Facebook page and find out how to sign up for those. And there is a website in the works, and we will have a booth at the Newberry Watermelon Festival on Saturday. The Facebook page is April Tischer for School Board.
Other commissioner questions? What seat did you say you're running for?
District 3,
District 3. Who's currently in that seat?
Dr. Paulson.
Okay, thank you. Does the county commissioner have any questions? Does the public have any questions for Ms. Tischer? All right, thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you. Good luck.
Thank you, Newberry. I appreciate your support. You guys have been great.
Thank you. All right, we are to our citizens announcement. These are the 2-minute non-controversial. We got a garage sale coming up type of announcements. Is there anybody in the public that'd like to make an announcement about an upcoming event? I'm sure we'll have plenty of comments at the end about the Watermelon Festival this Saturday. All right, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? I have a motion from Commissioner Glanzer and a second from Commissioner Coleman. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We have no public hearings and ordinances, so we'll move on to our first agenda item, which is Countryway of Newberry Phase 2 Final Plat Approval. Brian, are you going to lead us through that conversation?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. One moment while the presentation comes up.
You didn't expect us to get here this fast.
I thought we would. This is the review and approval for Newberry, Countryway of Newberry Phase 2. The infrastructure improvements have been completed, and now the developer seeks the final plat approval for recording to start building permits. Phase 2 consists of 36 single-family cottage-style homes, and the final plat revisions have been confirmed by the city surveyor and approved. An aerial view shows you the location of the 36 homes, lots rather. There's the first page of the plat, and then the second page, which shows you the actual layout of the lots. And so with that, the final piece of the approval process is having a 1-year maintenance bond for the improvements that have been completed. We received the bond this morning, and after review by the city attorney's office, they requested that we make a few more adjustments to the maintenance bond, basically adding more specificity to how the money can be spent and what the money can be spent on. The current agreement is very broad in general. They wanted to add some more specificity to it. We anticipate we could have it done within a couple of days and by the end of the week. So it would be completed and approved by the city attorney's office. So what staff is recommending is approval contingent upon approval of the final surety agreement for the maintenance bond.
So we can vote on it tonight upon that contingency, so the developer doesn't have to come back.
Yes, sir.
A couple of days, 3 days, we'll have that wrapped up, and we can all move forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner, have any staff? Yes, Commissioner, have any questions for staff about phase 2? A lot of similarities for phase 1. Okay, then I will entertain a motion this time, if there are no questions.
So moved.
I have a motion for approval contingent upon the bond from Commissioner Martin, a second from Commissioner Farnsworth. Does the public have any questions on the motion on the floor? Comments on the motion on the floor? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Brian. Okay, and that brings us to comments. City Manager, do you have any comments? It's a historic moment. All right. City Attorney? All right. Madam Clerk, there you are. I'm looking for you over there. No comments? All right. We'll go from that way. Dr. Hersom, do you have any comments? No. That was loud enough. Commissioner Glanzer? That's up to you guys, right? Commissioner Coleman? Commissioner Farnsworth?
Yeah, just want to announce that the RC Park's going to have an event this Sunday at 1 o'clock, and all the money that they raise for the raffles and the event itself will be going to the families of the fallen Gilchrist County police officers. If you have a chance, please go out there at 1 o'clock and enjoy the event.
Thank you. Commissioner Martin?
I was also going to mention that this past weekend we had the Gator Cup archery event. There was over 500 archers alone, plus all their family and crew out there. There's probably, I would bet there's upwards of 1,500 people out there at the archery event this weekend. The staff mentioned to me that this weekend there's going to be another event similar that's geared mostly towards the collegiate folks. There's always something happening out here, it seems, which is always a good thing. I just encourage people to try to get plugged in as much as possible. And with regards to the appearance of the Gilchrist, or the Trenton folks earlier tonight, you know, quite frankly, I was a little caught off guard. I didn't expect them, so I was a little choked up by their appreciation. But if they are still listening or anything, their appreciation is certainly not needed at all. It's certainly the least that we could do for them. And as you see some of these other events that are happening just in our community and in theirs, always try to be as supportive as possible. Hopefully they never have to return the favor to us, quite honestly, but it's good to know that we have great people around our community, and it really is something I'm very appreciative of.
Thank you, Commissioner Martin. Don't let me forget to go over the Watermelon Festival details, but before I go through that, we are initiating our charter review process. At the next meeting, I will need each commissioner's appointee to that board. So begin to think about the person that you want to sit on that. Make sure, if you can, you have reached out to that person to make sure they're able to sit on that board. It's going to be a hectic push to try to make the deadline that we have made. We may have to go back and relook at that. We'll just see how it goes. But your involvement with those nominations or those appointees is going to be an important. So when you come into the next meeting, if you could have reached out to that person, make sure that they have some time over the summer to put in the work, because we are going to be asking them to do that work. So you got a couple weeks to figure that part out and reach out to them and talk to them. Of course, we got the Watermelon Festival right around the corner. It's this Saturday, the 19th. The parade lineup will start at the Produce Place, which is right across the street from the Newberry Church of Christ. It usually goes all the way down and wraps around to the fire station. So if you get here about 8:30, you might just go to the fire station and come in the back and get into the lineup, unless you need to be in the front. The parade will start at 9. The festival starts pretty much right after the parade, so you get on out there. It's going to be at the town center this year. So if you're at the light, head south. It's where we had the vigil. That's where we had the Christmas festival. So we hope everybody's going to have a good time. They got carnival rides this year. So they've stepped up their game, and the town center is certainly a beautiful location. We certainly would love to have the commissioners all be at the Watermelon Festival auction. It's always fun. All of that money goes straight back into scholarships for local kids. So if you pull up to the festival and you pay $5 to park, before you get upset, know you just donated $5 to a kid, because that's exactly where that money goes. It all goes back to the kids. It all goes back to, stays in the community, all goes back to local issues. And then the announcing of the Watermelon Queen is usually around 1 or 2. This year we're going to have a watermelon drop. I think it's at 10:30. I've got about 6 kids that are entering in a watermelon that they have designed a security feature. They're going to drop it, and whoever doesn't break wins a big prize. So if you're an engineer, don't compete in this one, because my kids really want to win. Okay, and I believe that does it for me. We are in the parade. Mr. Manager, do we have a vehicle for all the commissioners to ride in the parade that we think will make it the distance of the parade? But I have to say, if it breaks down, Commissioner Glanzer's a beast at pushing that fire truck. I mean, she can hop right off and start pushing.
We have a motorized vehicle, and we have a team of mules in case the motorized vehicle breaks down. So you absolutely will make it there.
There you go. All right, and don't forget the candy. Don't forget the candy. All right. Yeah. All right. With that, we'll open it up to citizen comments. If you've got any longer, more in-depth comments that you'd like to make, come on down and speak to the commission. Don't forget to introduce yourself for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Dorothy Benson, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about a citizen-driven voter referendum that will be on the ballot in November. It's called the Children's Trust. Our county commissioners have already put the Children's Trust, created it by ordinance, and we need voters to vote yes to fund it in November. I have left a folder here for each of you to have a copy of a PowerPoint presentation that gives you some information about what it would cost folks out in Newberry and in other areas of the county, and also PowerPoint that tells you about how the kids out here are doing, and a pamphlet that tells you all about us. Our county commissioners have already created a Children's Services Advisory Board and funded that with $1.25 million to actually fund creative, innovative pilots for children prenatal to 5, because it's pretty limited funding, so they wanted to really focus on prenatal to 5 and getting kids ready for kindergarten. The first part of that is an RN visit. They've started that this past week. Every single new mom in Alachua County that has a baby at Shands or North Florida or with a midwife gets access to an RN if they'd like to have one come visit them at home and visit with them in the first week. They can talk to that new mother about all sorts of issues, special needs, postpartum depression, you name it. So that gets kids off on the right start in Alachua County. The second piece of the Children's Services Advisory Board is working on is increasing the access to quality child care services in Alachua County and also increasing the quality of that care. They're working with the University of Florida experts in early childhood studies in order to create professional development that can be driven out into the community to our different child care centers through the Early Learning Coalition. The third piece of this puzzle for prenatal to 5 is actually social and emotional development. And one of the things that Maggie Labarda, am I out of town, out of time?
You can go
One
ahead
thing
and
that
finish
Maggie
up.
Labarda has always said is that some people don't realize that that young children need mental health support. They always need a parent who can care for them. In November, we'd like to go out to voter referendum and have voters support this so that we can serve children 0 to 18, add things to the children's services like after-school care, after-school programming, summer program, and that kind of thing. What I'm here to ask you tonight, there's a draft resolution in the folder, is if you would have me come back and do a real PowerPoint presentation, explain to you what it's about, who would serve on the independent board, and ask you to do a resolution to support us in November.
We can absolutely do that. That beautiful one woman in the back, that's who you're going to need to get to.
Awesome.
And she will make sure that you get on an agenda sometime soon.
And I know it's a lot, but I hope you can take some of the information that's in that yellow folder and take it home and read through it
I
for me.
guarantee it's nothing compared to what our city manager asked us to read through. So we
Thanks very much.
thank you. Any other citizen comments tonight? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Stay tuned for the joint meeting